Hi, I'm Willie Kramer.
I'm Connor.
I'm Colin Giacalone.
And I'm Chadwick Carter.
And this is Brootlegg. Brootlegg Extracts is a cold brew coffee company that we developed over the past 8 years.
Started in a basement about close to 8 years ago, mashing minds and figuring out something that could work.
Yeah, so nowadays we actually serve and sell coffee, cold brew coffee, to over 50 locations across Columbus. I had a funny bet with a coworker saying that I couldn't use the word dank to sell coffee, and he was wrong. And Colin walked in with his friends who looked like an indie band. And from there, Colin came up, he goes, I need two things. I need a job and a drink. And so I said, you need a dank cappuccino. I was at a coffee shop where I was making 12 to 13 buckets of cold brew coffee a night. And if you're not familiar, you have to take 5 pounds of coffee, grind it up, put it into 5 gallons of water into a big old bucket and let it sit for 24 hours. It's not the nicest process. And when you're sitting next to an espresso machine, you're wondering, why am I making coffee in a bucket? The espresso machine's like $30,000. And so Colin and I got to talking and we were like, what if we utilize pressure to make this better, make a better process?
The dichotomy of a bucket and a $30,000 espresso machine paints a picture.
It's laughable.
A scene in which we can dive into and explore. In the basement too, I mean, we built a blast shield, we busted out the window so Willie could put an exhaust to weld. We routed our own 240 volt outlets. We cut into the water line and rerouted the water into the machine.
Meanwhile, the landlord had no idea. And we just kept on keeping on, and slowly but surely we were building workbenches. We had a whole wall with system components, and we were actively developing the core technology that we're using today to produce the cold brew that everyone loves.
And it really is. It's a high pressure extraction machine that uses 1200 PSI to make cold brew in minutes instead of 24 hours.
And we save anywhere between 20 to 60% of the coffee beans in every batch. But in turn, from us stealing all of the best parts of the coffee, we learned a lot and started sharing samples with Brioso to understand our recipes and dial in the extraction itself. And once we got to a good place, they were really, really excited about the technology and the equipment. And we developed a deal where we could put a pilot system in the back of their shop.
The couple comments or feedback that we got, so Jeff has been in coffee for over 20 years now. I mean, he said it's the most consistent extraction of coffee he's ever tasted.
And it was over the course of 2 years working directly with Jeff that we developed all of our recipes, really started to understand the ins and outs and what does work and what doesn't work. And we're constantly making modifications every Saturday. We spent 12 plus hours at that shop.
Late night, tweaking it when it's completely closed, just coming in after hours.
Run in after, and it was Wednesdays and Thursdays, and
it was in the back of Brioso for 2 years. It made over 6,000 gallons, and they just swapped their entire cold brew over to this machine that we put in the back. And it's kind of a ridiculous thing to look back and think of.
This has really given us a platform where we're taking all of the coffee we're making for folks, and we're actually getting paid to test the equipment that we have dreamed of using. And it's all in the scope of trying to get that equipment to the point where we can license it to someone else and have other people use it, just like we did in Brioso.
Which I guess is a good kind of recap to say we found a small group of people who believed in us with this idea, with this plan, and were able to give us just enough to get a spot that we're in right now and get it off the ground, and enough runway for us to build a
business. Yeah.